Now, in that House of Ill Repute that we call the House of Commons, there are, I think, 650 MPs. And there's the Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, who is also an MP. He's a Labour MP for a northern constituency, but he's also the Speaker. In 2 years, Ben, he stands accused of pretty much splashing out £250,000 worth of taxpayers' money in expenses on luxury globetrotting to various glamorous destinations. In Los Angeles and Australia, he spent thousands of pounds on chauffeur-driven limousines. When he went to the Caribbean, to Montserrat, he even chartered a private jet. He went to the Cayman Islands, he went to Singapore. You name it, he went there. Everywhere, every time, flying first class or business class, staying in hotels that cost as much as £900 a night, routinely charging taxpayers £300, £400 for dinner, taking with him 3 to 4 staff, often to Gibraltar, funnily enough, where he is the Chancellor of the University of Gibraltar. God knows why, but he is. Now, he's been there 4 times. It subsequently emerged that he took his wife on at least 2 of these trips, one to Gibraltar, another to Los Angeles. He claims it was all a big above board, but he did have to, quotes, amend his records to make sure they reflected who paid for what. Now, I think we're owed an explanation for this. Why does the Speaker need to go abroad 19 times in 2 years? You know, they say, oh, fact-finding missions. Give me a break. Give me a break. This guy's enjoying nice trips to glamorous places, living high on the hog on expenses. We're paying for it. I want to know what's going on here. Now, he stands accused of wrongly handing a full parliamentary security pass to Gibraltar's former representative in London, a guy called Albert Poggio, who's also a very successful, wealthy businessman. Now, Albert apparently underwrote several of Hoyle's all-expenses paid trips to the Rock Hotel, the luxury hotel on Gibraltar. He got him this pass, old Hoyle, by appointing him his foreign advisor in 2021. Why does the Speaker need an appointed foreign advisor? Now, critics say we need a probe into this guy's activities. I think there's a serious case for saying this man has been abusing his position. This man has been wasting taxpayers' money to afford himself a luxury, jet-setting, globe-trotting lifestyle, glamorous in itself. There's a case to say that. We need an investigation. Can we find a single MP or minister or Secretary of State to suggest that perhaps we ought to look into this? No, Ben, we can't.
I'll tell you one MP who'll do it.
Go on.
Rupert Lowe. He's given up his salary to charity. He'll have a go.
Hasn't done it yet. This has been going on for about 2 months. He hasn't done it yet.
I will speak to Rupert straight after I'm off air and ask him to put a question in on the Speaker. But, you know, this is a very serious issue. The Speaker is the chairman of the House of Commons. He's the adjudicator of processes in the Commons. He is the one you go to. If you've got a complaint about another MP's behaviour, he's the one you go to and you say, you know, Mr. Hoyle or whatever they call each other, so-and-so has been up to so-and-so, can you please have a look at it? So this man is responsible for the good governance and the practices of the Commons, and he's on the take. And that is very serious. And I think you do him, I think you're being too kind, Kevin, when you say there should be an investigation. I think he should be blooming sacked on the spot. There is no excuse for this guy to be spending £250,000 on foreign jaunts and giving passes to the Commons to, you know, people in Gibraltar. He should just be sacked and got rid of.
Well, I'm with you in spirit, Ben. But in all fairness, you know, this guy Hoyle He's made no efforts to particularly explain himself. I know this because we first broke this story. I mean, I say we broke it. There were a few paragraphs in the Mail on Sunday, I think it was back in December. I thought, hello. So we did the story and got this huge pompous letter from his office saying that I obviously didn't understand the role of the Speaker. And there's me thinking, oh, so the role of the Speaker is to fly first class round the world, staying in flash hotels, having lovely meals, always in nice places. He never goes to Siberia or Belgium. It's always the Cayman Islands.
Why is he going abroad? His job is in the Commons. Yeah, it's a domestic job.
Exactly. So I gave him the chance to explain there, but instead he gave me a rollicking, telling me that or his people did, I didn't understand his role. I think, Sir Lindsay, I do, and therein lies your problem. What I'm saying is he still hasn't explained himself, nor has he had the opportunity to explain himself, and an investigation, a full investigation into his activities, would afford him the chance to tell the people why it is he's spending so much of our money on his glamorous jaunts. That we need an investigation, and we need one now, but we're not going to get one the way things are going, Ben, because every single MP so far has been scared to speak out. How dare they?
Yeah. And there's another issue I think that Hoyle needs to be challenged on, and that is him shutting down debate in the Commons about the Southport protests that took place in Axel Rudacabana. Do you remember he told parliamentarians that they couldn't raise any questions on Axel Rudacabana because that might compromise, this is the Southport killer for those people who, it might compromise his case. But actually there were very legitimate
That's rubbish,
questions.
By the way. That is legally rubbish. Starmer knew it, and so did Lindsay Hoyle. Rubbish. It's absolute rubbish.
And so Lindsay Hoyle was used by Starmer for his own political motives.
Yeah, and I've said this before, Ben. People say, look, he's a very good speaker, studiously unbiased. Rubbish. He's always doing Starmer's bidding, always.
Absolutely. I think he's a terrible speaker. He should never be the story. He should be getting on quietly with his job. He's got an ego the size of, well, one individual that comes to mind who perhaps we'll talk about in a second.
Yes, indeed. But just to say before we move on now, John Bercow, I'm sure, like me, you're no fan of him, the previous speaker, £250,000 in foreign expenses. It took him 10 years to rack that amount up. Lindsay Hoyle did it in 2 years.
Bercow was only going to Brussels and back because he was trying to undermine Brexit.
Yeah, indeed.
Hoyle has to go further afield.
Yeah, well, indeed. I think Hoyle's just going after to enjoy himself, but that's just my opinion. And why shouldn't we say this, considering Sir Lindsay doesn't seem to want to talk about this? I think he should be made to talk about it and an official investigation into his expensive activities at our expense. We need answers.